Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing? Alright, let me get started. To God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, the greatest. To my dad, the man who believed in me before I did. To my mom, the woman who encouraged me to be beyond average. To Ms. Burns, who taught me what it meant to be a mighty Negro. To Coach Ant and Coach Grayson, the two men who never put limits on me. To my teammates, the ones who would ride or die for me. To my friends, thank you for the endless amount of laughter and support when I needed it. Some people want it to happen, some wish it could happen, others make it happen. Despite all the naysayers, I made it happen. But let me be clear, it was only by the grace of God that I made it. When I came to Booker T, I had no idea what to expect. Of course, I knew the guys on the basketball team, but other than that, I was clueless. My freshman year, a firm foundation of what excellence looked like was set through Ms. Burns. She was the first teacher ever that could control a classroom the way she did. She had the bad kids learning, good kids learning, and we was all on the same page. She was the first person to tell me you should get a 100 on everything, not even a 99. That same year, I happened to start on the basketball team and we went to the regional final. I was naive to how big the accomplishment was to the school and the community because I always expected to win. But starting a team like that gave me a big confidence booster. And I also remember Coach Freeman, my dog, Frito, telling me to make high A's so maybe I could be a valedictorian one day. Moving to 10th grade, that was one of the hardest years of my life. I lost all my confidence my sophomore year. Although we did go to state, my mental health was really bad. I moved to the bench because of some older players, and I wasn't really playing that well. And I started to let the negative voices seep in. Despite this, I kept my grades because the expectation for excellence stayed the same. But from that year, I learned how important mental health is. So go to therapy if you need it, call to God when you need a healer. And especially looking back on this time, I needed that, so I would go to God. No matter how much you get, nothing can compare to the love of God. Sophomore year taught me that it's okay to not be okay, and that pain is necessary for change. 11th grade is when I started to see growth. I made amazing friendships that year. Shout out to Cam, Toby, Jared, Emiliano, Micaiah, Jeremy, everybody, all of y'all. On the court, I felt like I somewhat belonged when we made it to the regional final. My relationship with God got stronger. My circle was getting better. I started to open up and talk to my parents more. And we made it to the regional final once again, and we came up short. To me, at that point, I was an average player, but my confidence still did grow. And I found my identity outside of basketball through the global learning exchange we have with students from Rider's College. I became more of an ambassador for the school, and I became involved in more STEM projects. The summer before my senior year was the most vital of my life. There were so many questions. Where would I go to college? And what would the basketball team look like without Christopher McDermott and Otis Carter Jr.? And trust me, I heard all of the noise. I know every single person who said something about me or the team, and some of them are in the room with us right now. But little did the haters know, I had 2 life-changing events before my senior year. I started training with this coach to work on my athleticism. And we were doing a drill one day after a couple months of training, and I really surprised him. And he looked at me with this look on his face, and he said, you can actually make it in whatever you do. You just have to believe. And this was so important to me because I had never had someone believe in me that much with seeing me in that short amount of time. In the same summer, I got on the phone with a man my father knows because I was really struggling. The man asked me if I had ever received the Holy Spirit. And I said, I mean, I've heard of it.
Sir.
You know, of course, God and Jesus, but I've never accepted it into my life. So he starts to pray, and he's praying in tongues. And I start to sweat and cry because of the overwhelming power of the Holy Spirit. That is when my life forever changed. I knew God was real. I didn't just believe. From that day on, I understood that my confidence comes from God because He's my strength. Now it was finally my senior year. Needless to say, I was busy to start. I was doing leadership projects, I joined the gents, I became Mr. Booker T, all before basketball season. I had so much fun, and I was really moving in the confidence that God had given me. The season started, and I had a big chip on my shoulder. But then adversity hit. Our coach was taken from us, the man who was like another father to me. I cried to my mom, expressed how I didn't know what to do, but I went in my room, the quiet place, and prayed. God showed me how to be strong through the struggle. I put my hand in his hand. Before you knew it, we were in the state championship game. When everyone said no, God said yes. Even though we came up short, I cannot be proud of what we did as a team this year. High school for me has been amazing. Although it was not a Disney Channel picture-perfect story, it was great. I learned to be my authentic self, to do the things no one wanted to do, to be responsible, to look out for others and to serve them, to care for my community, to listen to the ones before me, to give my absolute best. Everything I set out to be, I became. Through discipline, sacrifice, and resilience, I got what I wanted accomplished. If you remember nothing of what I said today, always remember these two things. My favorite verse that's hung on my wall, Hebrews 10:36. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what God has promised. And my favorite quote was from an Ohio State football coach. He was standing around his players during practice. He told them, God has a tendency to pick up a nobody, to be somebody in front of everybody without consulting anybody. Always remember, you do not have to prove yourself to man when you are chosen by God. I love you all. Thank you.